Hello everyone, welcome to Priyam classes. I am Prabhat Kumar. Today is my first class. As the session has started, it is going to midway of the academic session. So instead of starting from the first chapter, I have taken a chapter which is very much important, not only for mathematics because it is included in the syllabus or maths, but it is also used in all places, in almost all places in your physics syllabus also. So that chapter is related to calculus, and let's start with the limits. But before we start the chapter, let me give you some very important concept regarding when we talk about infinity. There are two important things, that is zero and infinity. Now, what do we mean by zero and what do you mean by infinity? I would like to start with infinity. If I say what is the meaning of infinity, everyone will be saying there is just one answer. It is the maximum number, or it is a number more than any countable number, or the maximum countable number. What is the meaning of maximum countable number? It will vary from person to person. For example, if there is a person who knows only counting up to 20, and if he has got 50 coins, and if you ask him how many coins do you have, he will just go and start on counting, and he will say after 20 he will give up, and then he will say I have too much. So this too much. So when we say infinity, that means I am saying it is too much. That is infinity. But what is that limit? Can we say that just 50 coins is infinity? It is infinity for that particular person, not for all. That is why infinity is just an imaginative number. It is an imaginary number which is beyond our imagination. Whatever number we can think, whatever bigger number we can think, there is always a number more than that number. So that will be infinity. Now I come to zero. If I ask you what the meaning of zero, then most of you will be saying it means nothing. But is there a word called nothing, or is there a number which will say nothing? What does it mean? It means basically it is lowest number. Before this there can be no positive number lower than this number, and that is when we are approaching towards the number. We approach towards a number, that is the keep on reducing a number, keep on, like as we say, there is always a number between any two numbers. So we can, if I take 0 and 1, I will say just divide it. For example, if you go on a number line, if it is 0 and if it is 1, then you say there is always one point, that is 0.5. In between these two, that is less than 1. Go on, reduce it further, make it, divide it again by 2, and you will get another number, that is 0.25. Another, again you divide it by this, divided by 2, and now you are going to get 0.125. So keep on reducing, like you can go on to 0.1, you go on to 0.001, you can go on to 0.0001. So the moment we are going to, actually we are approaching 0, but we are not getting 0. So actual thing, when we say 0, that is not nothing, but it is actually negligible. It is actually a negligible number which we say it as 0. Now what we say, how do we approach to a limit? When I say we have to approach to, tending towards, when we say x is tending towards 1, what does it mean? We can approach it from, if we see on a number line it is 1, we can approach from right hand side, we can also approach from left hand side. This is the approach. For example, if I am going nearer to 1 from left hand side, I can write most nearest is 0.9. If I go further, I can also write it as 0.99. If I go further, I can also, because basic thing is whatever number I am saying, the difference between that number and 1, it has to be minimized. I have to take it, the difference should be minimum. That minimum number, just to minimize that number, I will keep on increasing this number, like I can say 0.999 or 0.9999. So as we go nearer to 1, we are getting, always I am getting a number that is much closer to 1. Similarly, if I come from right hand side, what will happen? I will keep on, for example, if I said 1.1, it is a number that is nearer to 1. Come more closer and it will be 1.01. Come a little bit more closer to 1, it can be 1.001. Similarly, you come a little bit more closer, it will be 1.0001, and similarly you can be closer, and even this is also not the closest one, we can be more closer also. So this is when we are approaching from left hand side, it is left hand limit, and when we are approaching from right hand side, it is called right hand limit. This is the meaning of limit. Now when we say there is a limit exists, that is only for any expression, a limit will be existing only if both the approaches are coming to the same point. If both approaches are not coming to the same point, we will say that limit does not exist. For example, let me take an example in this. Suppose that my expression is y is equal to modulus of x divided by x. Now we know what is happening in what is the meaning of modulus. Modulus of x means it is equal to plus x when x is greater than or equal to 0, and this is equal to minus x when x is less than 0. So for left hand limit means okay, so from, if we are approaching 0, if x is approaching 0 from left hand side, obviously if it is approaching from left hand side, that means that the value of x will be less than 0. Value of x will be less than 0. So here always x will be less than 0. That means if I am trying to find out x tending towards 0, modulus of x divided by x, this will be equal to limit x tending towards 0. Modulus of x will be minus x, as I said here. So divided by x, it will be cancelled. So now the value will be minus 1. Now for right hand limit, for right hand limit, what is happening? X will be greater than or equal to 0. So in that case, my expression will be limit x tending towards 0, modulus of x divided by x. This will be x tending towards 0, x by x. So this will be equal to 1. In this case, what I am saying is left hand limit is not equal to right hand limit. proves that limit does not exist in this case. Limit is not existing in this case. We have to find out an expression, or where the expression should be like that. The limit, both left hand limit and right hand limit should be equal. Then only we can say that limit exists. Let me take another example. Let us take another example. Suppose that my expression is y is equal to limit x tending towards 2 x square minus 4 divided by x minus 2. Now see, it is a very important fact that if I am using directly, if I use 2 here, what will happen if I am operating limit? What will happen? It will be 2 square minus 4 divided by 2 minus 2. So this will be 4 minus 4 divided by 2 minus 2. That means 0 by 0. Now what does this mean? What does this mean? This 0 by 0. I will explain this to you. This is an indeterminate form. I will explain a moment later in this class only what are these indeterminate forms. There are 7 forms which are supposed to be indeterminate forms whose value we cannot find out. For example, in this case, if I say what is the value of 0 by 0, one person will come, he say okay, the numerator is 0, so the value is 0. Another person will come and he say no, if the denominator is 0, so its value is infinity. A third person will come, he say no, both of you are wrong. Says both numerator and denominator are equal, so they will get cancelled, the answer will be 1. Now which is correct? In this case, all 3 people are correct in their way. So what is happening is, that is why, because a definite value is not being explained for an expression, that is why it is called an indeterminate form. In this case, in such a situation, when we have to find out the limit, this limit when we have to find out, what we will do is, we will try to simplify it. I will try to simplify, and instead of taking this, just operating the limit, I will assume something. I will take, just let x is equal to 2 minus h or 2 plus h. Okay. X is equal to 2 plus h. In this case, when I say x is approaching 2, that means h will be approaching 0. If I say x is approaching 2, that means h will be approaching 0. So now what is happening? If I put it there, it will be limit 2 plus h whole square minus 4 divided by 2 plus h minus 2. Now limit, I will say it is 0. So now it has been changed. This is for when I say 2 plus h, that means we are approaching from right hand side. So this is right hand limit, and that is why I will say make it a plus sign there to indicate it as it is a right hand limit. Now for right hand limit, when I simplify it, this will be limit h tending towards 0 from positive side. It will be 4 plus 4h plus h square minus 4 divided by 2 plus h minus 2. So what I will get is limit h tending towards 0. So this is your what? 2 and 2 will be cancelled. It will be 4h plus h square divided by h. Take h common. Just it will be now limit h tending towards 0. So it is h 4 plus h divided by h. It can be cancelled. So now I can operate limit. So it will be now 4 plus 0. So equal to 4. So this is your right hand limit. Now let's come to left hand limit also. For left hand limit, I will write this and then now I will start with left hand limit. For left hand limit, I will assume x to be equal to 2 minus h, because I have to approach 2 from left hand side. Okay, so from left hand side, if I say this, so again if x is tending towards 2, that means again it will be same thing, h will be tending towards 0, but it will be from minus sign. So on approaching this, I will say y is equal to limit 2 minus h minus 4 divided by 2 minus h minus 2. H will be, as I am finding out the left hand limit, so I will put a minus sign here. Okay, so now what this is happening is that this, when this will be 4 minus 4h plus h square minus 4 divided by 2 minus h minus 2. This 4 and 4 will get cancelled, 2 and 2 will get cancelled, and now I will be getting this. So h 0 minus, so it will be h, if I take, it will be h minus 4 divided by minus h. So what this is now, this h again gets cancelled. So what I am getting is, if I am operating the limit, it will be minus 4 divided by minus 1, that is once again 4. Now in this case, I can say that left hand limit is equal to right hand limit. So this means that limit exists in this case. If this is happening, that means limit is existing, and that limit, that existed limit is what? That is the value, whatever we are getting. This is the answer, or this is the limit to my initial expression what was there. Okay. Okay, now let's take another example. Another example, if the same expression, that is what I was saying, that y is equal to limit x tending towards 2, and that is x square minus 4 divided by x minus 2, but again in this case, if it is saying x is not equal to 2 and this is equal to 4 when x is equal to 2. As we are saying that this is the same expression as I was doing in the previous question, or in the previous example. So that case, in that example also, I got the answer as 4 using the same method, and using the same method, even if it is, whether it is less than 2, whether it is equal to 2, it is coming out to be 4. So again in this case also you will get that left hand limit is equal to right hand limit. So I will say that limit exists and that is equal to 4. So this is the basic concept of limits. Now, as I told earlier, there are certain indeterminate forms whose values cannot be determined. That those indeterminate forms are like one of the examples I have given you, that was 0 by 0. There are certain other forms also. As I said, 0 by 0. What it will be said? One person is saying 0, other person is saying infinity, and third person is saying 1. Similarly, there is another infinity divided by infinity. If infinite is not a particular definite number, it is not a particular definite number, so obviously we cannot calculate what is infinity by infinity. Similarly, if I take 0 multiplied by infinity, again one person will be saying, if you are multiplying 0 by any number, the answer will be 0. Another person will be saying, if you are multiplying by infinity any number, so the answer is infinity. So what is the correct answer? Nothing is correct. No one is correct. So it is also a kind of indeterminate. Then I will say infinity minus infinity, because two infinite numbers, they may be equal, they may not be equal. It is not necessary that they will be equal. So you cannot determine if there is not a fixed number. Even the difference cannot be found out. Yes, if it is plus infinity, that means it is another infinity. Infinite number plus infinite number, that is another infinite number. So we are not considering as an indeterminate form. The other indeterminate form is 0 raised to the power 0. Now what this means? Again, the similar thing comes. If it is a 0, if the base is 0 and 0 multiplied to any number, so even if it is multiplied to 0 itself, the answer is 0. Okay, so the answer is 0, 1 person, as per one person. But another person says, if the exponent is 0, all of you know that if exponent is 0 to any number, the value is equal to 1. So what is the value? Whether 0 or 1. So this is also an indeterminate form. Then infinity raised to the power 0. Infinity raised to the power 0. Again the same situation. Whether it should be 1 or whether it should be infinity. This is the number, and then the last is 1 raised to the power infinity. As you know, any number, if you multiply 1 any number of times, you are getting 1. But if the exponent is infinity, what is going to happen? That this is an infinite number. So these are some indeterminate forms whose limited value or whose definite value is to be determined. Now I am going to explain you some specific type of expressions and how do we find out limits in those cases if direct application of limit is not feasible, or direct application of limits is tending towards an indeterminate form, or it is leading towards an indeterminate form. So how will you do? The first I am using is direct substitution method. This is how to find limits. The first and the best way, the easiest way is direct substitution. What we say is direct substitution. That means whatever the value is given for the variable, whatever the value means, the value to which the variable is tending towards, that number will be directly substituted and you will get the value. For example, if I say y is equal to limit x tending towards 1, and it is x square plus 1 divided by x plus 1. Now in this case, I will just check one thing. First thing, find out left hand limit, find out right hand limit. Either you go in that way, but it will be a longer way, so it will be best that way. Just put, because if I put 1 here in place of x, what we say, am I getting an indeterminate form? No, because if I put 1, so it will be just 1 square plus 1 divided by 1 plus 1, that means ki 2 divided by 2, so it is equal to 1. So this is my answer. This is the easiest and simplest way of how to find out a limit. This is only the case when we are not getting an indeterminate form after directly substituting the value of limit. Okay, so now I will start with another type. Now I will do with another type of expression, and for that purpose I will use factorization method. Now in this factorization method I will take an example. For example, y is equal to limit x tending towards 2, and it is x square minus 5x plus 6 divided by x square minus 4. Now if I go with the previous method, if I am putting directly 2 to it, it will be 2 square. So 2 square is 4, 4 and minus 10 and plus 6. So numerator will be 0. Now for denominator, again 2 square minus 4, that is denominator will also be 0. So we are getting a form of 0 by 0, which is considered to be an indeterminate form. So it is not possible to put the value of value of x as 2 directly, or direct substitution method is not feasible. So in that case, what I will do is, I can see both of them are algebraic expression, both numerator and denominator are algebraic expression. So it will be very easy for me to factorize these two. And if I go on factorizing, so if I factorize this will be x minus 2 multiplied by x minus 3. Similarly, this will be x square minus 2 square, so it will be x minus 2 and x plus 2. So this is what after factorization, and after factorization I can see they have got common factor, so this will be cancelled out, and now it will be limit x tending towards 2, x minus 3 divided by x plus 4, sorry, x plus 2. So now as I can see, now x equal to 2, I can substitute 2 for x because there is no 0 by 0 form. So if I am substituting this, I will be getting 2 minus 3 divided by 2 plus 2. So this is what I am getting is minus 1 by 4. So this is the value of limit. Now I am going towards the third method. Third method is where direct substitution is not possible, where factorization is also not possible in that case, but it is an algebraic expression. So what I will do is, that is called rationalization method. Rationalization method means what we will do is that both numerator and denominator will be rationalized by multiplying by one common factor, and that will simplify my expression, and then I can go for direct substitution method or factorization method, whatever is feasible, whatever the next expression I am getting. Okay, I will take an example for this. It is square root of 2 plus x minus square root of 2 divided by x, and here the limit is x tending towards 0. you can see this expression is not possible to be factorized. If it is not possible to be factorized, and if I directly substitute the value as 0, the numerator will be root 2 minus root 2, so it will be 0, the denominator will itself be 0. So again, direct substitution method is not possible, and factorization method is also not possible. So what I will do is, I will just multiply both sides, multiply numerator and denominator by the rationalizing factor, and that rationalizing factor for numerator, it will be square root of 2 plus x plus square root of 2. And if I multiply it by like this, so y will be limit x tending towards 0. Again, take it as a, take it as b, so it will be square root of 2 plus x minus square root of 2 multiplied by square root of 2 plus x plus square root of 2. Similarly, in the denominator, it will be x multiplied by square root of 2 plus x plus square root of 2. As you can see, now we can, it is the formula a minus b multiplied by a plus b, so it will be a square minus b square, so it will be 2 plus x minus 2 divided by x multiplied by 2 square root of 2 plus x plus square root of 2. So what we are getting now, it is limit x tending towards 0. Okay, so this 2 will be cancelled, it will be x divided by x multiplied by square root of 2 plus x plus square root of 2. I will rub out the first line. Now this x and x will be cancelled, so y will be equal to 1 by square root of 2 plus x plus square root of 2 limit x tending towards 0. When I operate limit, it will be just 1 by square root of 2 plus square root of 2, so it will be 1 by 2 times multiplied by square root of 2. So this is the way we have to use it. So this is rationalization method. Then some standard limits also. There are methods with where we are using with some standard limits or some standard expressions. Now I will discuss some specific formula, or for some specific type of limits where some standard formula may have to be used. For example, this method is called finding limits by using some standard formula. Now what does it mean? Before I go on finding out a limit, let me tell you just one example I'm giving you. For example, if I say 1 plus a power n, and if I expand it, if you expand it, this means it is 1 plus n a plus n minus 1 divided by factorial 2 a square plus n minus 1 n minus 2 divided by factorial 3 multiplied by a cube, and so on. Now I will be using this. Take an example. I have to find out limit x is tending towards a, and my formula is x raised to the power n minus a raised to the power n divided by x minus a. Now as you can see, if I directly substitute a for x, it will be 0 on numerator, 0 on denominator, so the value will be 0 by 0 and indeterminate form. So now what was the next method for me was factorization method. It is already, because rationalization method will not be applicable because it is already both are there is no square root or there is no need to rationalize. So even if you go for factorization, because n is not a fixed number, n is not a fixed number, the exponent is not a fixed number, so it is not possible to factorize also. In that case, how will I do it? In that case, I will be taking as another, let x is equal to a plus h. X is equal to a plus h. This implies that if x is tending towards a, that means h will be tending towards 0. Using this, I will change my expression. Using this, I will change my expression, and this will become limit x tending towards 0. In place of x, I will write a plus h raised to the power n minus a raised to the power n divided by a plus h minus a. This is what I am getting to find out. So I will make a little bit of trick. Limit h tending towards 0, I can write it as a raised to the power n multiplied by 1 plus h divided by a power n. Because a I have taken out, minus a raised to the power n divided by, now as I can see that a plus a and minus a will be cancelled, so I get only h. Okay, so now what I am going to get is so now this is limit h tending towards 0. If I expand the numerator, it will be a raised to the power n. Then in numerator, what I am getting is 1 plus n multiplied by h by a plus n multiplied by n minus 1 divided by factorial 2 multiplied by h by a square, and so on, and then at last I will get minus a raised to the power n. Okay, so this is for the numerator, and in denominator as usual I am getting h. Okay, so now if I further expand it, then it will be limit h tending towards 0, just multiply it and you will be getting a raised to the power n plus n h multiplied by a raised to the power n minus 1. Why? Because it will be a raised to the power n divided by a. So it will be n h into n a raised to the power n minus 1. Next term will be n minus 1 divided by factorial 2 multiplied by h square and a raised to the power n minus 2. and so on it will be there, and at last I will be getting a raised to the power n divided by h. Now, what happens? I can see that a raised to the power n can be cancelled out with a raised to the power n. So now, from the remaining everywhere I am getting h as a common factor. So now I will write it in another way. H I will take out, and inside the bracket the remaining will be n a raised to the power n minus 1 plus n minus 1 divided by factorial 2 into h a raised to the power n minus 2 and so on, divided by h divided by h. So what I am getting is this h cancelled, and once this h cancelled, all problem is solved, because now it is not having, all other factors will be having h as a factor, all other components, all other terms will be having h except for the first term. And if I operate the limit, that is h, put h equal to 0 in all places, all other terms will be 0, and the remaining will be n multiplied by a raised to the power n minus 1. This is the method using some standardized methods. Now in the next part, now I'm going to start is, that is, because till now what I have explained is the expressions or the limits of the expressions where it was attaining a form of 0 by 0. Now I am going to do with the expressions which will be attaining the form of infinity by infinity. Now what I am saying is that evolution of algebraic expressions which are tending towards infinity. So what is my method is evaluation of algebraic sums or algebraic expressions limits tending to infinity. So this is the main factor. This infinity word is the main factor that is creating problem. For example, if I take, in these cases, remember, if I am taking limit x is tending towards infinity, and if I say it as ax square plus bx plus c divided by dx square plus ex plus f. Now you can see in both the expressions, if I put x as infinity, both of them will become infinite, and the expression will be infinite divided by infinite, so it will not be possible to find out a limit, or it will be an indeterminate form as explained earlier. So if it is an indeterminate form, even if I factorize it, even if one of the terms get cancelled, again there will be x. Even if there is x, it will be infinite once again. So what we do in this case, just remember one standard form for this, that in any case, if limit is x tending towards infinity, then, and the expression is 1 by x, this will be equal to 0. It will be taken as 0. So this is what I will be using. The trick that I will be using is this thing. How? Just divide both numerator and denominator by x square. Why x square? Because the highest component that I am getting is 2. So I will divide both numerator and denominator by x square. Had it been x cube also there, I would have divided it by x cube. Here the highest component is 2, so I will divide it by x square. So if I get, then what I get is, it is equal to limit x tending towards infinity. It will become a plus b upon x plus c upon x square divided by d plus e upon x plus f upon x square. Okay, so this is what. Now if I am operating a limit, so ba by x, since the limit of 1 by x is equal to, if x is tending towards infinity, 1 by x is equal to 0, so 0 into b, it will be 0. Again, c divided by infinity square, so it will be another infinity. It will be another infinity, so c by infinity is, once again, it is 0. Same will be, this term will be 0, this term will be 0, and this limit will come out to be a upon d. This is your answer. Okay, so now what we take, similarly as I explained just before that, you have to use some standard formula. So even in exponential or logarithmic functions, again I will be using the expansion method. For example, if there is as I explained you, 1 plus x power n, it was this. So in logarithmic functions and in those things, what we do is that we have to expand it, and after expansion, whatever we get, we simplify it by using any of the methods that you are having, and that method will be making your question easier to easier. So this is all about limits. Next, in the next class, in the next class or in the next video, I'll be explaining with the next chapter related to limits, that is continuity. But before that, remember, if you want to get notifications about my classes, about my lectures, if you want further notifications, just subscribe it, press the subscribe button, press the bell icon also, and just put a like on it. Okay, thank you.